everyone, welcome to our channel, Rebecca, Stu, and the crew. Today we have some really fun fall DIYs for you guys, and we will go over the supplies for each project separately. For our first project, we are going to be using these Dollar Tree chopping mats from the kitchen section, some vinyl paper and white, also some stickers, or you could even use some rub-on transfers. It's really up to you. We'll need a candlestick. We're going to use a large wood circle and then some Spanish moss. We're also going to use some floral wire and brads. We'll need 2 of them. We're going to need something to write with, a ruler, and then we'll need some scissors and hot glue and a hole punch. So let's get crafty. The very first thing I'm going to do is use my cutting machine to cut out this vinyl paper. Now, a lot of people don't like the vinyl paper. I tried it. I didn't think it worked that bad. I used it on a light grip mat. I used copy paper setting, and for the pressure, I just used the default. It did lift up a little bit in some of the spots, but it wasn't too bad. I just went over it with a roller to smooth it out before I tried to weed it. If you don't have a Cricut or a cutting machine, no problem. Again, you could use rub-on transfers from Dollar Tree, and you could use some different stickers of your choice to pretty much decorate the strips of your pumpkin, and you'll have the same result, just with a different look. And here's our kitten. He's going to help me. He was very playful today when I was doing my crafts. I know it looks like I kind of tossed him aside, but I just have the video sped up, so it looks like I moved him a little faster than I did. So don't worry, he's just fine. So now what we're going to do is weed the vinyl, and he's still helping me here, as you can see. Very playful today. So we're just going to weed out those pieces that we don't need. So these pieces I'm weeding right now are actually for our second craft that we're going to be making. I just cut all of the pieces out together because I was going to be using all white vinyl today. So I'm just going to weed these out along with the strips that we're going to use for our pumpkin in this craft here. So now for the pumpkin, we actually did 7 scrolling vines, and each one of those will go on the 7 strips that we cut down from this vinyl sheet here from the cutting mat pieces. You actually get 2 cutting mats in each pack for $1.25, which I thought was really great. I really love the dark blue. I love the different colors that they have in. So we're just going to mark these at the 1-inch increments at the top and the bottom, and then draw the line straight up and down using our ruler. I'm just using a white marker here so you guys could see a little bit better for the sake of the video. And if you do 1-inch sections, you'll get 14 strips out of this sheet here. And then you just want to cut those down with a pair of scissors. And like I said, I used 7 vines that I cut out on the Cricut for 7 pieces here. And then I wanted to use the other 7 pieces with some stickers to show you guys that the stickers really do look just as nice. You don't have to have a cutting machine to do this craft project. So now I'm just using what's called transfer tape. I'm actually using the Dollar Tree clear shelf liner, and I just put that over top of the vinyl, and then I use that to move it off of the backing it comes on, and I put it over onto the plastic pieces here. It just helps you see where you're working and be able to move it all in one piece. But it was a little stickier than I thought it was. I thought I had taken some of the sticky off, but it was still pretty sticky and hard to get off for the first 2 that I did. But I did manage to make it all the way through here. And here's the second one. So you just want to work slow and be patient. Just because the detail work was really fine with the scrolls of the vines that I used there. It just made it a little bit difficult to get it off of that backing, even when the transfer paper wasn't all that sticky. So it was really just the details of the design that made it a little bit more difficult. But I do all 7 pieces in this fashion, and I do that with the white vinyl here. And then once that's done, I started to cut my holes in the top and in the bottom using the hole punch. I just punch a hole in the first one, and then I use that one as a template, and I line up the strips and mark the holes in the exact same spot, so they'll all be in the same spot when we put this together. And again, you want to do a hole in the top and in the bottom of each one of these strips. Now we're going to use these silver stickers that I picked up at Dollar Tree, and we're going to use that for the last 7 pieces that we have here. And we're just going to put them on the same way with the stickers right down the center. Then I arranged my strips so that I have silver, white, silver, white. I just didn't want the white pieces all right next to each other, and I thought it looked better using an alternating pattern. So we're just putting these in the order that they're going to go on the brad. So now we're going to take one of those brad prongs and we're going to put all of the strips onto the brad. Now before I open up the prongs, I'm going to take a piece of floral wire and wrap that around the brad a few times, and then take the end of the wire and force that up through the holes from the hole punch and pull that tight. All that's going to do later when we push this wire up through the top here is going to help us to pull those pieces down a little bit to get more of a pumpkin shape. Then I take the second brad and I force that up through the center, and then I put the rest of the pumpkin pieces on at the top and open the prongs up. Then you can arrange your pumpkin pieces to look more evenly distributed. I got mine all worked out here, and then as soon as I did, I realized I forgot to wrap the wire around the brad, so I had to open the whole thing back up and then wrap the wire around the brad to help pull the piece down and just keep it a little bit more closed up. I just like the shape of the pumpkin better with the wire in it, if that makes sense. And when you wrap the wire around the brad, it actually helps to pull the wire to make it shorter, and then pull the pieces down a little bit to make a little bit more of a flat pumpkin there. Now I'm taking that wood circle and I'm just going to add some hot glue and then glue my pumpkin right to the center. These actually came in a 2-pack from the Dollar Tree over in the DIY wood section. And here's what it looks like so far. And now we're going to make some leaves. So I'm taking that white marker again, just so you guys could see it. And I'm going to sketch out 2 very simple leaves on the second mat that comes in the pack. And then we'll cut those out with our scissors. And then I found that if you take these leaves and you bend them and then give it a really nice pinch, you'll get these really cute little decorative lines in the sides, and then it helps give the leaves a little bit more shape if you fold them kind of at an angle. And then I drew some detail lines on with the marker. I just thought it looked really nice that way. It helped the leaves have a little bit more detail. So once I have both of the leaves done, I'm just going to attach these to the top with some hot glue. And you can add as many leaves as you like, or none at all. It's really up to you. You could even add stickers to the leaves instead of using a white chalk marker or oil marker to make the lines on your leaves. So now that I have both of those glued on, we're just going to take another small strip, and this is going to be the stem. I just roll it around a screwdriver until I have this loop. And then at the end, I actually take a little bit of hot glue and glue the circle together. And then once I have that done, I'm actually going to reach inside of the stem and pull that center portion up and out a little bit to make it taller. So you're basically pulling a spiral out from the center. So just grab that center piece and give it a little pull, and it'll lift up out of the center. It'll make your stem a little bit taller. And then just add some hot glue to the very bottom. You can shape up your stem with scissors if you need to. And then just add some glue to the bottom and glue that right to the center of your pumpkin over top of your leaves. You can add some extra stickers to the stem if you like. I actually had a few silver stickers left, so I added one to the stem to help tie it all together. And now we're going to take some of that Spanish moss. We're going to add just a little bit of hot glue to the base that it's on, and then start tucking the Spanish moss underneath of the pumpkin on that base to hide the wood slice that we used. I just like the way it looked with a little bit of moss there. I didn't want this to just sit on the table by itself. I knew my cats would have a field day batting it around the house. So I was like, what can I do here to make it a decoration I can sit out that I know is going to stay where I put it. So again, we're just going to use the Spanish moss and just keep working your way all the way around until you have that whole base filled in with the Spanish moss. And once you have all of the moss done, then if you want, you can add it to a candlestick. I had this old candlestick from Dollar Tree, so I chose to add this to the craft just to make it sit a little taller. You could let it sit on the table if you like. I just had a personal preference of wanting it to be on the candle stand. And here's what it looks like all finished. It's actually really easy. You're just cutting strips and adding stickers and then tying them all together at the top and the bottom. Now for our second craft, the supplies we're going to need is one of these large wood pallet signs from Dollar Tree, some faux leather in any color that you choose. I'm going to again use that vinyl paper, and then I'm going to need a ruler and my cutting machine. And then I'm going to use some thumbtacks, a razor blade, and then we're going to need some scissors and some hot glue. So let's get crafty. So first we're going to take this pallet sign from the Dollar Tree. We're going to use a ruler and our razor blade, and then we'll also need these dog nail clippers. So the first thing we're going to do is take our straight edge and that razor blade, and we're going to cut through this top portion of the sign. I didn't want that pumpkin there. I wanted that to come off, so we're just going to cut through the sign. We'll score it about 5 or 6 times so you get it pretty deep, and then all you want to do is turn it upside down and then snap that edge off, and then you could take some scissors and clean up the edge. And now what we're going to do is take that faux leather and fold it in half. I'm going to lay it on top of the sign, so I have about 1/4 of an inch around the sides. And then I kind of measure just with my eyes to see about 1/4 inch on the other side. And then I take one of those rotary cutters from Dollar Tree and just cut the excess vinyl off. So that's big enough to go through the center of the sign. I have a little bit too long at the top, so I'm going to trim that off as well so that I have this nice wood frame around the vinyl on all 4 sides. It's nice and straight. So now we'll get out some thumbtacks, as we're going to use those in just a second. We'll need 4 of them. We're going to glue the ends down to the faux vinyl, or faux leather, I should say. And we're just going to glue just the very edges of the top and the bottom. We don't really need glue on the whole thing, just enough to hold it nice and tight so that it's smooth. And then we'll take those 4 thumbtacks and cut most of the end off. As you can see, those dog nail clippers cut right through it. All you're going to do is cut off most of that little stem, but place your hand over it like I am so that that end doesn't fly up in the air and hit you in the eye and you get hurt. So we're going to cut all 4 stems off, and then you can still force those through the leather and the wood. It's just a little bit shorter, so it doesn't go all the way through. You can tap those with a hammer if you need to. Now, we did cut this vinyl out when we did our very first project earlier. Now, if you don't have some large stickers or a vinyl cutter that you can make this exact sign, there are the rub-on transfers. There are some small little pumpkin decals at Dollar Tree you could add here, and they have those poster stickers you could also use and just paint over them to make different sayings on your sign. So there are some different options. You could even just use a chalk writer or a paint marker and just write the words on here and add a pumpkin at the bottom. It's really up to you. But we're just going to write the word pumpkin down the right hand side, and then take the word hello and turn that sideways and put it right above the pumpkin on the other side of the sign. This one is really easy. It's a super simple craft to do. I just love the simplicity of it and how it looks like when it's finished. And then the 2 crafts paired together, I am just in love with. I hope you guys enjoy them too. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget, we do DIY videos on Thursdays and Dollar Tree videos on Tuesdays and Fridays. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share if you haven't done so already. And I hope to see you guys back tomorrow to see what's new for the week at the Dollar Tree. Have a great day, everyone.